I know most of you have heard about support and resistance, and probably you do trade that. But do you think you're doing it the right way, right? So in this video, I'm just going to show you why trading support and resistance might be risky. Probably that might be the reason why you get stopped out. Then maybe price goes toward your direction, right? So I'm just going to give you most of the tip and why that happens. So let's get started. For example, let's just start with this analysis. This is GBP card as usual, and we have to draw our support and resistance line, right? So we have that as a support, of course, and then we identify this as a resistance. Okay, so let's do this. So we want to analyze this zone over here. Let me circle that. We want to see what happened during this period, probably how the market reacted to support and resistance. Of course, let's see that is now after hitting the H4. Okay, so sorry about that. So let's continue. Over here, if we continue zooming just like this, we have to see some sort of patterns. All right, so this is it. The first thing we need to see is this. Look at this. We did see that price gave us some sort of a resistance over here. Okay, it's amazing. Then now we had this pattern. Okay, so look at this manipulation over here. I know most people did see that price went up, then came down, right? And now when price did go back, you did of course identify this resistance over here. So now you were thinking that price needed to give you this kind of a reversal that is a double top, then continue going down, right? Look at that. So this is the sorry, let me just do this. So this was the anticipation, right? But price continued going up. So you need to identify and ask yourself what went wrong, right? So I'll just give you this scenario over here. Let me just remove this. Let me just do this. Okay, so look at this. Generally you are forgetting that we are in an uptrend. Generally we are in an uptrend. So why do you think that price needs to reverse around this zone then go down? All right, this is the code, guys. Price sometimes do not respect those support and resistance line. Okay, so you just need to know the general direction of the market and then react to what you're seeing. So we can see that the market was in an uptrend, of course, then that went. Let me just add this trend line over here. So generally we are in an uptrend, right? And of course we have this as a high, right? So let's continue. So what made you think that this should be a pullback and then think that price will go back towards your favor? How about you see this as somehow a continuation pattern? All right, so that's why I need to remove this sort of a reversal sign that price was trying to create, that is a double top. So let's do this. Price was giving us impulse movement correction. We need to understand that, right? So let's remove this too. Price was giving us an impulse movement and a correction. Look at this. So we have an impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction. So this is just an impulse movement. Then of course this is a correction, right? So what next? After an impulse movement, of course we expect a correction. I mean, after a correction we expect an impulse movement, right? Like I said, this is an impulse movement, then now correction. So after correction we expect some impulse movement. So what makes you think that this was the right idea to take a sell entry over here? You see, that was the mistake. All right, so the moment you identify the general direction, then that's what's up. I hope everything will be great. So let me just see if I can get another scenario, probably to the downtrend. All right, that was an uptrend. Let's head back to the daily, same pair. I'll try to see if I can get some down movement over here. Let me see, rather let me look at another pair. For example, let me just use this Aussie Swiss franc that I did talk about last week. All right, so look at this. All right, generally we can see we are in a downtrend. Of course, we are in a downtrend. Look at that, we are in a downtrend, right? That being identified, now let's go back to the H4. I want to tell you something. Right, let's go down. This is a downtrend. Let's just use this zone over here. Let me explain something. I'll remove this. Okay, so now when we do this, we talk about from this zone, from this zone to this zone. Okay, so let's try and understand what was happening, right? So we can see that the market did go up, pushed down, went up, pushed down, went up. All right, so then look at that, we have our resistance there, our support, right? So I believe when you guys do trade supply and demand, for example, you come and then you zoom like this, then now this is the zone. Let me just circle that once again. This is the zone, right? Then I'll just write that, or rather let me just call this out as a supply. Sorry, let me just write this zone over here as a supply zone. Oh, what's happening? Sorry again, I don't know, I'm trying to be in a hurry. So this is a supply zone. Come on, supply zone or a resistance, right? So that's a supply zone or a resistance. Then over here, this is our demand zone, right? Then we just call this out as a demand zone over here, right? So that's what's up. So this is it. Most people, this is how we usually trade. Now, after identify and seeing this kind of pattern, so at the back of your mind or at the back of your head, you understand that anytime price hits down over here, it pushes back, right? Look at that, price pushed down, then went back, right? Pushed down, went back, pushed down, right, went back, right? So look at that. So that is what I believe you are seeing generally that is happening, right? So we have that mark demand over here, then our supply zone. So the reason why trading only support and resistance or supply zone and demand is risky is this, right? So when price hit our supply, our demand zone, it went back, okay? So then it came down over here. So most people will try to take their their buy position over here. That was a sell on tool. Their buy position, right? Then now probably target back, right? Forgetting that generally we are in a downtrend. So that is a risky move, right? So look at this, price also gave us this false movement, then went up. So the moment most people do see that, then this is the immediate decision. You take your buy entry, targeting probably this high once again, because you've identified that this is the general behavior of this market. Anytime it hits our demand zone, it bounces back to our supply zone. So look at that, the moment you did take your buy entry targeting our supply zone, then price reversed on you, then went down. What went wrong? So let's try and understand what went wrong, right? Let me just explain this. The problem was you were in a bad market, right? So look at this, generally we are in a downtrend, okay? We are in a downtrend. So what gave you the reason to take a buy position over here? Let me just give you this in an illustration. Price in a downtrend, this is lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So in layman's language, or rather in the forex language, this is it. Impulse movement, correction, impulse movement. This is a correction, gang. So what are you trying to do during this correction phase? While we know that after every correction we have an impulse move, so you're trying to trade a correction, which is now the wrong thing, guys. All right, so the best thing that I should advise you guys is never trade any correction, only go for impulse movement. All right, make your entry after the correction is done. That is now when the market gives us a signal for an impulse after correction, that is when we do execute, right? So for you not to fall under this trap, guys, you need to look at the market in a general way, right? You need to first understand the general direction of the market. Understand what the market is doing. After identifying that, for example, look at this. I did identify that this is an upward move, but generally we are still in a downtrend. Why? Of course, this is an uptrend, but it is an uptrend in a correction, right? So look at this. We had this impulse move. Come on, impulse move over here, correction, impulse move. It is a correction, right? So after correction, that's an impulse. That is the easiest way, guys, to survive this market. You need to understand what the market is doing and interpret. The moment you interpret and have the idea where the market is trying to go or what it's trying to do, then I believe you will survive. Now, inside this correction, as you can see, we did have impulse movement, correction. So look at this. this is an impulse, then this is a correction, right? Impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. Then market did break out of our downtrend, of our uptrend, meaning that this general correction movement is done. So the market is now right, the market is back in that impulse movement. So this is just an impulse over here, a correction, and guess what, this is an impulse. And you can see when it is time for an impulse move, the market really moves, right? So look at this, this is a correction, and guess what, now this is an impulse. And you can compare, guys, anytime there's an impulse movement, the market is really moving without even resting. Look at that, look at this push, that is now an impulse, right? But when the market was in a correction phase, you can see how dirty it was, right? Now this is a correction, look at how dirty it is. But when it's time to move, there's nothing that's stopping the market, right? So you just need to identify those kind of pattern behavior, the market behavior, before making your entry decision. Okay, so that's what's up, guys, and I believe you guys are blessed. So kindly check out my Telegram channel in the link description below, and also smash a like button for this video, and also subscribe again. So adios amigos, peace.